All right, Warriors fans, let's dive straight into the fire because Golden State is once again sitting right in the middle of an off-season saga that just refuses to cool down. It all starts with Jonathan Kuminga. You've heard Joe Lacob talk about it. You've heard Steve Kerr get asked about it. Steph Curry has been pulled into the conversation. Draymond Green gave his own take. And now the newest voice in the room is rookie guard Brandon Podziemski, who spoke out and didn't hesitate to defend his teammate. This isn't just another off-season chatter piece. This is shaping up to be one of the defining stories of where the Warriors go next in building the future of the franchise. Podziemski made it clear that the locker room is not shaken by what's happening in the media. He admitted everyone knows it's the job of reporters to dig, to stir, to nitpick, to create headlines, and to find storylines that fans latch onto. But within the team, the mindset is different. He said it doesn't matter how things end up playing out with Kuminga. His value in the locker room as both a person and a player won't change. Those were strong words because it shows a young player already trying to put out a firestorm of questions surrounding one of his closest teammates. Pods and Kuminga have often been grouped together as the future of the Warriors' next era, the pair of talents that Lacob and the front office refuse to throw into trade talks. And when Pod says, obviously we all want him in Golden State, that's more than just a throwaway line. That's him standing by his guy, putting loyalty on the table for everyone to see. Still, it's hard not to read between the lines. The comments from Podziemski felt genuine, but at the same time, the Warriors fan base has been hearing the same thing from different angles. Joe Lacob has publicly stated he views both Kuminga and Pods as essential cornerstones for the years after Steph, Draymond, and possibly even Jimmy Butler step away. But when you line up all these comments, you notice something missing. Steph hasn't gone out of his way to declare Kuminga as untouchable. Draymond, always vocal, hasn't given that kind of endorsement either. Kerr's tone has been more pragmatic, and even when GM Mike Dunleavy spoke about Kuminga, it sounded more cautious than passionate. That's why Podziemski's words stood out. He didn't hesitate. He didn't sugarcoat. He just said what he felt, which was, we all want him here. The larger issue is that everyone already knows what Kuminga wants. He sees himself as an all-star in the making, a future face of the league, and he knows that's not going to happen in Golden State while he's being asked to fill in as a role player. On the flip side, Lacob doesn't want to give him away for a small return. If the Warriors trade Kuminga, they want a star-caliber exchange, not just another rotation piece. That's been the tug-of-war for over a year now, stretching back to when his name surfaced in potential packages for Paul George or Lauri Markkanen. The story hasn't changed. Kuminga feels underused. The Warriors feel he's too valuable to trade cheaply, and both sides are locked in a standoff. What's fascinating here is how Podziemski fits into this. He's not just Kuminga's teammate. He's also one of the players Golden State is banking on to carry them forward. And when he says he's focused only on being the best version of himself entering year 3, you better believe that carries weight. Because right now, Golden State didn't go out this summer and land a huge free agent. They didn't swing for the fences after making the Butler trade back in February. They've been quiet. That means internal growth is the plan, and Pods has to be a centerpiece of that. Joe Lacob has gone as far as to call him a future all-star, and with no other major moves being made, the pressure is real for Pods to make a leap this season. His second year already showed flashes of that growth. His three-point volume ticked up. He looked more confident after the Butler trade, and despite some struggles early in the year, once the calendar flipped to 2025, he was noticeably sharper. But then came the postseason, and under the brightest lights he stumbled. Shooting efficiency dropped to the low 30s. He couldn't consistently create his own offense. And when Steph went down, the Warriors needed him to step up. He couldn't quite deliver. That was the harsh reality check. Playoff basketball is different, and Podziemski looked like a young guard still figuring out how to shoulder that kind of responsibility. Now, here's the thing. Lacob can call him an all-star all day long. But for Pods to even sniff that conversation, he has to transform his game into reliable production. We're talking about giving you around 17 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists every night while bringing that trademark hustle. Charges taken, loose balls recovered, relentless defense. He has to be the guy spacing the floor, hitting the open jumper, and giving Golden State energy on both ends. Because without him stepping forward, the Warriors' depth just isn't strong enough to keep them in contention when injuries or slumps hit the veterans. And that leads to the big question. Should Podziemski be a locked-in starter moving forward? Down the stretch last year, he was in that role. But depending on how the Kuminga saga unfolds, Pods could find himself permanently in the first unit, not as a luxury, but as a necessity. The team needs his shooting, his playmaking, and his motor. Fans are split on it, some thinking he's better off anchoring the bench unit, others believing he's ready to rise into a permanent starting role. What's clear is that Golden State is running out of time to wait on development. If Pods is going to be that guy, this is the season to show it. Meanwhile, while all eyes are on Kuminga and Pods, the Warriors are still tinkering on the edges of free agency. Al Horford, D'Anthony Melton, and Gary Payton II are all expected to officially join the roster, even though the team keeps using the phrase verbal agreements. Let's be real, these are essentially done deals. The contracts just need signatures, and Golden State is banking on them to bring veteran toughness and depth. Beyond that, there's still names floating out there. Malik Beasley is one of them. Say what you will about his past controversies, but he shot over 40% from deep last season on high volume and put up 16 a night. That kind of shooting is always attractive. The challenge is whether Golden State has the financial flexibility to make it work, because he won't come at the minimum. That's where things stand, Warriors fans. The locker room says they're unified. The front office insists Kuminga is too valuable to let go cheaply. The fans are restless, waiting for either a resolution or a breakthrough season. And in the middle of it all, a young guard named Brandon Podziemski just put his stamp on the saga, saying loud and clear that no matter what happens, they still want Kuminga in Golden State. All right, let's keep it rolling, because the first half of this story already painted the picture of what's happening inside the Warriors locker room. But if we zoom out to the bigger offseason landscape, the Golden State front office is juggling several moving pieces that go way beyond Jonathan Kuminga. The franchise has quietly stacked up a handful of verbal agreements, some expected veteran additions, and is still eyeing other free agents who could round out the rotation. And while those moves may not carry the flash of blockbuster trades, they might be exactly the kind of subtle, steady signings that shape whether this team can survive the brutal grind of the Western Conference. The first major update is about Al Horford. At his age, most players would be thinking about life after basketball, but Horford still has plenty left in the tank, especially when you put him in a system like Golden State's. Reports suggest his deal is going to be a 2-year contract worth around $11 million, with a player option for the second season. That's a smart move because it gives Horford the flexibility to decide whether he wants to keep playing beyond this year. The Warriors clearly see value in adding him, not just for what he brings on the court as a veteran big who can stretch the floor and anchor the defense in spurts, but also for his leadership presence. Think about it. Horford has been through deep playoff runs, he's been a cornerstone in Boston, and he's the type of steady veteran presence that young players can lean on when things get messy. That matters for a team like Golden State, which is trying to bridge the gap between its aging core and its developing youth. The bigger question, of course, is whether Horford can still deliver meaningful minutes at a high level. He's not the 20-point-per-game scorer he once was, but he doesn't need to be. What Golden State want from him is efficiency, rim protection, and the ability to knock down open shots when defenses collapse on Steph or Jimmy. Even 20 minutes of smart, controlled basketball every night can be invaluable for a roster that has been searching for consistency in the front court ever since Kevin Durant left. And when you're staring down a Western Conference loaded with bigs like Anthony Davis, Karl Anthony Towns, and Nikola Jokic, having another body who can battle in the paint is never a bad thing. Alongside Horford, D'Anthony Melton and Gary Payton II are also set to join the fold. Both are perimeter defenders with grit, exactly the kind of player Steve Kerr loves to throw into the rotation when he wants to crank up the defensive intensity. Payton is no stranger to Warriors fans. His energy, his on-ball defense, his knack for turning steals into fast breakpoints, it's all part of what made him such a fan favorite in the 2022 championship run. Injuries have slowed him down since then, But if he's healthy, his impact is immediate. Melton, on the other hand, brings a different dynamic. He's versatile, he can guard multiple positions, and he can hit threes at a respectable clip. That kind of two-way play is exactly what the Warriors need in a supporting guard. But even with those agreements in place, the Warriors aren't done window shopping. They've been linked to names like Malik Beasley, Malcolm Brogdon, and yes, even Seth Curry. Starting with Beasley, this is a guy who just wrapped up a season shooting over 40% from beyond the arc while averaging 16 points per game. Those numbers are not easy to ignore. He has the ability to change games with his shooting, spreading the floor, and giving Steph a little bit of breathing room. The problem is price. Beasley isn't looking to sign for the veteran minimum, and Golden State doesn't have a lot of financial wiggle room left after filling out the roster. Teams like New York, Cleveland, and Detroit are in the running, and they can offer more money and possibly more minutes. Unless Beasley is willing to sacrifice dollars for a shot at a championship, the odds of him landing in Golden State seem slim. Then you have Malcolm Brogdon, who is one of the most polarizing names on the board. On paper, he looks perfect for the Warriors system. Steady ball handler, efficient scorer, calm under pressure, a veteran who doesn't turn the ball over and can create for others. He even won Sixth Man of the Year in Boston not too long ago, showing he can thrive in a role off the bench. But here's the catch, his health. Year after year, his availability has been an issue. He played only 20 for games last season, just 30, 9 the year before, and his injury history stretches all the way back to his early days. For a team already relying on older stars like Steph, Draymond, and Jimmy, adding another injury-prone player feels like playing with fire. Can you really count on him to stay healthy through an 82-game grind and then deliver in the playoffs? That's the risk, and it might be too much for the Warriors to stomach. Still, if you think about fit, Brogdon's skill set is intriguing. Imagine a lineup where Steph takes a breather, Draymond is orchestrating the offense, and Brogdon is out there controlling tempo, finding cutters, and knocking down open shots. That could stabilize the bench unit in a big way. The question isn't whether he's a fit, it's whether he can stay on the floor. The front office has to decide if the potential reward outweighs the inevitable risk. And then comes Seth Curry, the name that makes Warriors fans smile just thinking about it. The idea of Steph and Seth finally sharing the court in Golden State uniforms feels like something out of a movie. The Splash Brothers turning into the Splash family? You can already picture Chase Center losing its mind every time the two of them hit back-to-back threes. Realistically, Seth would be a back-end rotation player, someone who comes in for spot minutes, stretches the defense, and gives the Warriors a spark when the offense goes stale. He's never been a defensive force, and at this stage of his career that's not going to change, but his shooting is still elite. If Golden State wants a low-cost, high-morale addition, Seth makes perfect sense. It wouldn't be about him carrying the team. It would be about giving Steph a trusted partner in crime for a handful of minutes and giving fans a moment they've been waiting for their entire careers. Before we continue, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any exclusive Dubs updates. Let's keep going. Whispers have begun circulating throughout the NBA world as one of the league's most talked about comebacks is rumored to be taking shape. Sources close to the Golden State Warriors suggest that the team is positioning itself for a dramatic roster shakeup, and the name on everyone's lips is Melton. Yes, the very same Melton whose presence in the league has sparked excitement and debate among fans and analysts alike. The murmurs hint at a return that is not just symbolic, but could very well redefine the Warriors' championship trajectory. Speculation points to Melton being a piece of the puzzle the Warriors have long felt was missing, someone who can blend seamlessly into their fast-paced offense while providing the defensive solidity that has occasionally wavered in recent seasons. Insiders claim that conversations between the team's management and Melton's camp have been ongoing, with a focus on aligning his style with the Warriors' distinct system. The buzz has created an electrifying atmosphere among supporters who have long awaited a figure capable of elevating the team's playoff aspirations. Analysts are already dissecting potential lineups and rotations, imagining how Melton's presence could alter the team's dynamics and create new matchups that opponents might struggle to contain. Rumors of his return have sparked fervent debates on social media, with fans weighing in on the potential impact while eagerly anticipating any official confirmation. The sense of anticipation is palpable, as if the city itself is holding its breath for a move that could be historic, transforming a strong Warriors roster into a feared contender once more. Every tweet, post, and forum thread seems to amplify the narrative, suggesting that Melton's comeback is becoming not just a story, but a phenomenon that transcends the boundaries of sports journalism, feeding into the mythology of Golden State's relentless pursuit of NBA glory. Insiders hint that Melton's rumored return is being treated as a carefully orchestrated maneuver, with strategic planning behind the scenes aimed at maximizing both performance and public impact. Conversations between front office executives, coaching staff, and Melton's representatives have reportedly focused on more than just contractual obligations. They allegedly include detailed discussions about his role, responsibilities, and how his skills could address current roster gaps. The speculation is that Melton's blend of agility, perimeter shooting, and defensive prowess could provide a long-sought balance, allowing the Warriors to counter opponents in ways they have struggled with in previous playoff campaigns. According to sources, the timing of this potential move is critical, aligning with internal assessments of team chemistry, injury forecasts, and the competitive landscape across the Western Conference. Observers suggest that if the deal materializes, it could mark a turning point in how the Warriors are perceived not only as a title contender, but as a team capable of redefining modern basketball strategy with a well-integrated, multifaceted lineup. The rumor mill has been relentless, fueled by cryptic social media posts, insider whispers, and subtle cues from team practices that fans are meticulously analyzing for signs of Melton's integration. There is a growing belief that his style complements the Warriors' ball movement, defensive schemes, and transition play, potentially creating opportunities for previously underutilized teammates to flourish in tandem. Analysts are speculating on whether this move could signal a shift in the balance of power within the league, forcing other franchises to recalibrate strategies to account for a re-energized Warriors squad. The excitement is compounded by the narrative of a homecoming, a storyline that resonates with fans who remember Melton's earlier flashes of brilliance and who now imagine a future where his talents are unleashed at the right moment. Such a reunion would not merely be about adding a player. It would symbolize the convergence of experience, skill, and timing, amplifying the intensity of the Warriors' quest for championship supremacy while igniting renewed hope and fervor among the fan base. Speculation surrounding Melton's potential impact has reached fever pitch, with rumors painting him as a transformative figure whose arrival could recalibrate the Warriors' offensive and defensive equilibrium. Analysts suggest that his presence might relieve pressure on key stars, providing them with more freedom to operate creatively while also introducing a layer of defensive versatility that opponents would struggle to neutralize. Social media platforms are saturated with hypothetical scenarios, diagrams of possible rotations, and enthusiastic projections of game outcomes if Melton were to step onto the court with the Warriors this season. Even casual observers are drawn into the narrative, captivated by the idea of a high-profile return that could alter the fortunes of one of the league's most scrutinized franchises. According to The Buzz, his skills could seamlessly blend with the Warriors' emphasis on spacing, ball movement, and perimeter shooting, creating an arsenal of strategic options that would complicate defensive schemes for every contender in the league. Beyond the tactical implications, the narrative of Melton's comeback evokes a sense of nostalgia, reminding fans of his earlier contributions and the promise he displayed during previous stints in the league. The mere possibility of him donning the Warriors jersey again has sparked discussions not only about performance metrics, but also about leadership, morale, and locker room dynamics. Rumors even suggest that the team's coaching staff has been envisioning practice drills and game scenarios specifically designed to integrate Melton smoothly, underscoring how seriously the potential addition is being considered. In this context, the buzz transcends mere speculation. It becomes a reflection of the high stakes involved, as the Warriors are rumored to be calculating every angle in their pursuit of a title. The excitement is infectious, and as whispers of his return continue to circulate, the narrative grows more elaborate, filled with imagined highlight plays, clutch moments, and championship dreams fueled by a player whose return could redefine expectations and reignite a city's passion for basketball. Reports indicate that the potential signing of MELTON is more than a roster enhancement. It is seen by insiders as a calculated psychological boost that could galvanize both players and fans in equal measure. Rumors suggest that within the locker room, teammates are already speculating about how his leadership, work ethic, and competitive drive could shift the energy during practices, huddles, and games. Analysts argue that a player of his caliber brings not only skill, but also an intangible aura that influences team morale, decision-making under pressure, and the overall atmosphere surrounding the championship campaign. Social media chatter has amplified these whispers, with fans projecting expectations, creating fan art, and engaging in debates that speculate on how. Stay updated exclusively with the latest Dub Nation news. Subscribe to our channel and hit the like button to keep getting daily updates on the Warriors. Don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments. Your input is essential for the Dubs community. Stay tuned for the next video.